Holloway back in.
Look for Holloway to take quick shots. He's a really good jump shooter, doesn't need a lot of space. Paul Hewitt puts him in because he knows you're right around the 9-minute mark. We don't want to wait too late before we start to make an offensive push here.
You see the drought for the Patriots as of late. It's a fast start in this second half. Holloway for three. That one's good. It's a two. His foot was on the line.
Right on cue. He put him in.
Yeah.
He knows his job. They look for him. He nailed it.
You've done that a couple of times this afternoon, my friend.
I've been a little clairvoyant. Is that what you call it?
Lindsey will put it in for Richmond. Brothers is checked by Holloway. Should never let that guy leave his side.
The whole possession he needs to stay with him, because if he gets a little bit of space, he'll do that. He'll try to get a shot off. Good help by Coates, though.
Yeah, that time on the drive, and now Williams will draw contact, and a foul here on the Patriots.
Good aggression both ways right here on this possession. I really liked how Brothers took it in there, but Coates came over and said, get that stuff out of here, little man.
The foul was on Giannacich's third for George Mason. Two-shot foul, although Richmond in the bonus here now, 17 foul. Williams, who we featured at the start, Ron, who's averaging 14.8 points a game, 7 rebounds, 56% from the field. All those numbers first on the team.
And he does it the old-fashioned way. You know, he'll step out and hit a three if he has to, but it's primarily blue-collar work on the post. And you look at his size and you say, how does he get those shots off over taller defenders? And he does it with a lot of ball fakes and great energy.
Greg Robbins coming back in for Richmond. Terry Allen to the bench. See what Mason gets on this possession here with Edwards. Coates was held before he caught the pass.
But during that possession, it was excellent inside-outside action. He threw it into Coates. He couldn't come up with anything. Threw it back out, relocated, and then Edwards went right back to him again. Excellent possession, I thought, that time by George Mason.
Down to Giannacich. Wild hook there, and Williams rips away the rebound for Richmond. Remember, Arledge has 3 fouls for George Mason, an inside guy for them. His Brothers pulls up and scores it.
Now, his brother's ability to hit the three got him that jump shot. He started at the three, gave him a head fake, 2 hard dribbles, got to the elbow, a la Kobe Bryant, and just raised above everyone and nailed it.
Robinson game high 19 for Brothers. Right back the other way. Edwards the basket and a timeout by George Mason. Today between George Mason and Richmond here from the Coliseum. Mike Corey, Ron Thompson, 10-point Spider advantage. 15-6 run for Richmond as well. Mason had cut it down to 1, Ron. Every single time they seem like they're starting to close a little bit of ground. Richmond has pushed it back up to double digits.
Give Richmond credit. You know, what they did was they offensively, they started to play back at the rhythm that they played that got them the lead in the first half as they broke the press and attack. When they're in attack mode, when they're not on their heels offensively, this ball club is really, really tough.
And that's 14 for Derek Williams on the slam for Richmond. They lead it by a dozen. He's defending Johnny Williams right now in the post. Williams, though, on the jumper as he got freed up and the double team went down to Giannacich.
You know, watch George Mason in their full court. Look to be slightly more aggressive, look to trap more to try and cut into this lead before time becomes a factor. Excellent play that time by Edwards. He saw that Robbins was out of control in the air, slid out under him and took the charge. But this is how Richmond has been great in their transition game. They get the steal, they push it, and then they find Williams running the floor for the finish.
Richmond trying to keep George Mason at bay here on top by 10 in this second half with just under 7 minutes to go. The Governor's Holiday Hoops Classic. And there's a look at Blaine Taylor, the head coach of Old Dominion, whose team is coming up in game 2 when they take on Virginia. That's coming up right after this one here today from the Richmond Coliseum. In Richmond, Virginia, Mike Corey and Ron Thompson. Nice to have you with us. Happy holidays, everyone. All right, so the Patriots down 10 with the ball here. See if they can cut into this lead. Sherrod Wright, their top scorer, who has 16. He is out right now. The freshman Patrick Holloway is in. He has it. Holloway for 3. Brothers up to Davis. Rejected and a foul. Johnny Williams got that.
You notice how Richmond got that basket, Mike? Turnover, transition, attack. Turnover, transition, attack. When they stay in that sequence, good things have happened all night for them.
Williams picks up his first foul for George Mason. Trey Davis, who redshirted last year. Father John Davis, a Richmond Hall of Famer back in 1986. Third father and son duo to play in Richmond is Davis. Three on the way, count it. Right with 19. Couldn't keep him out for too long.
Well, you know, what happened was I thought George Mason went away from trying to find him, and other guys started taking shots. You have to force feed your best player, especially when you get to crunch time and you need points.
Edwards pulls back and hits. And the lead has been cut in half, just like that.
If Edwards can consistently be an offensive threat throughout the fiber, the course of the game, it really helps a guy like Wright, because now you can't just focus on him.
7-0 run, George Mason. And you had talked about it a lot here, Ron, about the transition baskets for Richmond. That's the way they like to play. Not quite sure this half-court slowdown type of game. You know, when they get a lead, but...
Right, but not for this particular ball club, because they have multiple ball handlers. They have good speed in the backcourt, which translates offensively and defensively, as you just saw, the speed and quickness of Lindsey forced that turnover. So use what you have to your detriment, to your benefit, and that's the sign of a good coach. You see what you have. You may have a vision and want to play a certain way, but your players dictate how you're going to play. And great job, you got to credit Mooney for coming out of what he naturally may want to do and tailor his offense and his system toward the personnel that he has.
Okoloji back in for George Mason. The freshman Holloway back to the bench. 5-point Spider lead with the ball. Williams, who's had a couple of threes today, not that time, and an offensive rebound. Brothers the floater. Rebound Arledge. They've missed him for a little bit of time out there. He had 3 fouls early on in that first half.
George Mason has to go a little sooner in the shot clock. They don't want to wind it down each possession. You don't want to panic, but you want to go as soon, as quickly as you can to give yourself more possessions in this game.
Holloway's coming back in. Also Alonzo Nelson Ododa for Richmond.
Richmond gets out of their man-to-man. They shift to their matchup. Let's see if George Mason can exploit it on the inside.
Harlow's tough pass looking down low for Coates. There's Wayne Sparrow back in. 15th Mason turnover this afternoon. That was something that Coach Chris Mooney for Richmond said to us this week that was one of the keys for him today. So yeah, we've turned it over a little bit too much last couple of games. We have to take care of the ball.
Well, part of that was playing Kansas. When you go up against Kansas, at Kansas, it's really tough. That the heat that they hit you with defensively, the crowd gets into it. They were just overmatched talent-wise.
Here's a steal. Okoloji to the basket, gets the two.
Now bring the press. Bring the press. Look to trap if it's there. Opportunity cheese.
Slicing through it to Cedric Lindsey. Now Williams just pushed underneath by Okoloji.
Defense has been the key and the catalyst to George Mason getting back in this game. And when you take a look at the way they've generated points, they've tried to use their defense to get back in it. You see right here, pressure on the ball. They shoot the passing lanes, and they're off to the races.
This is the CAA, and now they only lead by 3. It was in double figures. Mike Corey, Ron Thompson, happy holidays. Close ball game here as Mason comes back.
Excellent basketball both ways. George Mason's done an excellent job defensively here in the second half. They've closed off the three-point line, so Richmond isn't scoring as many threes. What George Mason has to do at this juncture is make sure they get a good shot attempt at the basket each and every possession. Right now, they're only down 3 points, so they're back in the ball game. We have a game right here, fellas.
Well, yes, we do. Both teams coming off a loss. Mason at 6-4 right now. Richmond at 9-3. Foul before the timeout as Williams is at the line for the Spiders, a 1-1. And here we go. Edwards running the show all afternoon for George Mason. Right, tough pass looking into Coates, and it's picked out of midair by Greg Robbins. Should be George Mason ball. And off of Richmond's Nelson Adota, and Coach Chris Mooney is saying
he's complete his case. He said he kicked it. He said it was off George Mason. He's selling it, but the officials are right on top of it.
I thought his player kicked it.
Let's take a look at it and see if he's right. Pressure on the ball right here. The pass comes. No, I didn't see it. Didn't see it. Try another angle. It looks like it's off of Richmond. Not unless he's trying to say that Holloway kicked it before it got to his player. Officials are right on top of it, though. Can't blame Mooney for selling it, though. Got to try.
Well, especially in the late stages here of this ball game. Under 3 minutes to go. Turnover is tied at 16. Now make it 17 for Mason.
And that's just what I was telling you. Mason has to get a good shot attempt because they're not as fluid offensively as Richmond, so they can't afford to have senseless turnovers. Someone has to get a shot up at the basket. If you miss it, crash the board hard with your advantage and go get the offensive rebound.
They will call the foul here on Corey Edwards. A little bit too close that time to Brothers, who's going to head to the free throw line. Edwards' second foul. It's number 10.
As you look at Paul Hewitt, he's frustrated right now, but he likes the effort and pressure on the ball by Edwards. But Edwards didn't need to foul. Right now, you give Richmond's best free throw shooter a chance to go to the free throw line with the clock stopped to take a 3-point lead now to 4. Let them use their offense now all they want because you're back in the ball game.
Well, at 86% for Brothers coming in. He misses the first time.
Maybe Edwards knew what he was doing.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. 1 of 2 at the first trip to the free throw line for Darien Brothers today, who's started in his 51st consecutive game for the Spiders. Been steady for them. And it's at 5 3-pointers today. Pull up from Holloway. Spiders in no hurry. They turn it over, trying to go into Robbins. How about Edwards? Lindsay still down. A 5-on-4 here for Mason. Holloway, he hits the three. And Lindsay is hurt for Richmond. It's a 1-point ball game, and he was late coming over, but because he's shaken up.
Go with it.
They'll attend to Lindsay, but it's a 1-point Richmond lead. Stay tuned. Back in a moment. Here, George Mason is yet to lead. Here's a look at the last play where Cedric Lindsay got shaken up, Ron. And
good effort that time by Lindsay, diving on the floor, but I think he caught a knee to the nose by Corey Edwards, and because of that, he was slow getting back, and Holloway's taking target practice.
And now Richmond having a tough time getting the ball in bounds. They will retain it with 1:50 left.
Right now for George Mason, Mike, you want pressure, you want energy, you want effort, but you don't want senseless fouls. Richmond's too good of a free throw shooting ball club to foul them unnecessarily and let them just go to the free throw line.
12-1 run to close the gap. Traveling violation. Minute 46 left. This is the second time today that George Mason has closed it to within one. It was 44-43 the last time. Do they get the lead this time?
If Mason can score here, believe it or not, this will be the first time they've led this entire ball game. Doesn't matter how you play early on, but if you can close games and play well when it counts, that's what's key.
It's back-to-back turnovers by the Spiders. Edwards, floating right-hander. Put back up and in by Jonathan Arledge, and it is the first lead of the day for George Mason.
That's why I said that Mason has to make sure that they get a good shot attempt. Get an attempt and then use your size to crash the offensive boards if you miss.
Williams getting double-teamed, calls a timeout.
Obvious, they have to try to look for Brothers. If Brothers isn't around, they're going to probably go to Williams.
You see it there, Richmond with 2 timeouts left, George Mason with 1. Remember, Richmond's in a double bonus here. 10 fouls already committed by George Mason. Arledge, who put that basket back in for the Patriots, now has 7 points and 8 rebounds.
Big-time defensive possession right here for George Mason. Communication has to be high. If there's a screen, you need to switch. You have to call it early because a lot of shooters and a lot of capable scorers on Richmond's ball club.
Robbins airmails Kendall Anthony.
He saw Anthony in the corner, but Anthony didn't grow 5 inches. Anthony was a little bit too short.
Well, I was going to say, Anthony's at 5'8". Even if he was 6'8", he might have had a tough time with that pass. A costly turnover with 1:07 left.
Not the end of the world. A lot of time left in this ball game. Play solid D if you're Richmond and try to get it back.
Edwards trying to take matters into his own hands, and Richmond will bail him out with a foul. It's going to be on Greg Robbins, his 4th.
Edwards splits the pick and roll, gets all the way to the basket. Right now, Edwards needs to be smart. The official called the foul. He got that one. But right now, you have a 1-point lead. Some risks and the gambles that you may take early in the game, you may not necessarily have to take right now. Be solid, close these free throws out, play solid D, and come back and have a solid offensive possession.
And that's the first time at the line for Corey Edwards today. Bertrell Bonds is back in. Haven't seen him in a little while. Edwards, a sophomore from South Jamaica, New York. Two-point George Mason lead.